Welcome back, everyone, or welcome for the first time if this is your first time listening to Blue Collar Startup. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Nelson, joined here today by the other host, Derek Foster.
I'm enjoying my blue collar coffee, also known as Stewart's.
Yeah, so I'm going to actually post a picture that I just took of the three of us on our Instagram account. So
Nice.
our Stewart's coffees. Stewart's, we'd still love to have you as a
Such
sponsor.
a cold day. We needed a little warm up.
Oh my God,
here
I know.
in April.
Nothing like an April snowstorm, right?
That's right.
My goodness.
Good for the ski resorts.
Well, I mean, it's funny you say that because snow's good for everybody, right? It's good for the economy. It's good for the grass,
Yeah.
It sure is.
right? Good for the lawn, makes it green. Good for the economy, though, especially all those, one person operations that are pushing snow around, and on a light year like this, like you need that little late boost, right?
Yep.
So we're joined today by Zay DuPree from DuPree
Heating and
Cooling.
cooling. Yes, sir.
Zay, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Zay DuPree, owner of DuPree Heating and Cooling. Sales, service, installation of primarily residential HVAC equipment. Right now I'm a one-man band. I have a model with another guy who also owns his own business. And what we do is we subcontract out each other if there's ever any two-man work. But right now what works for us is I operate my business. He operates his business. And his cell phone rings, my cell phone rings. When it's a little bit much for one hand, we use two.
Yeah, that's nice.
You know?
And is he also heating and cooling?
Yes, sir.
Oh, nice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. ALJ Heating and Cooling. Just to give him a quick plug.
Oh, nice.
Where is he?
You know what? Where is
Should have brought him in, right?
Yeah. No, you know what? I think he went out of town. Enjoyed himself, and
Nice.
got caught in the weather on the way back. So, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So how did you start your business? Talk a little bit about your journey to get to, being a business owner and starting your company.
It's so funny. As we were just talking about Anthony, I just so happened to be out of work at the time. I had a daughter in 2021. And while I was out, like a paid family leave, type deal, I was taking a few weeks off of work. And Anthony reached out to me because we worked together for a little while. And he says, I got a job going on, are you available? And I just so happened to be at the time. And to be honest, 2 days of work, he paid me, what I would have made in a week at my job,
Wow.
And, I'm a capitalist at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Here.
So something like that, it really just, it got the wheels spinning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And from there it was, how to start an LLC and, really just going down. Honestly, I call it YouTube University.
I like that.
We talk about it all the time. I love YouTube, man.
Yeah.
YouTube University, how to start an HVAC
I'm
company.
a YouTube farmer. Like everything I know about farming, I've learned from YouTube.
Yeah. I honestly can say, even through trial and error, you know what I mean? But what I have right now, my entire setup is basically set from, YouTube. Hey, what is this, contractor in New Jersey using for his billing software? What is this guy in Texas using for advertising and things of that nature?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, very much so.
I love the truck, by the way.
Thank you so much.
No one's missing that truck. For sure.
No, I mean, again, YouTube taught me, hey, look big even when you're small.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a great conversation starter. You know what I mean? Even sometimes it's just, what is that? Oh, heating and cooling. What does that entail? And even that sometimes just ends up being, a conversation, education quick. Hey, oh man, that's really neat.
Yeah. It's were you your previous job before going out on your own and doing that first gig with AJ?
Anthony. Yep.
Anthony. Were you already in heating and cooling? Like,
yes.
Were you a technician somewhere?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I was a service technician for a local commercial HVAC company.
Nice.
And at the time, I believe I had about almost 20 buildings, that I serviced where it was like a, hey, Zay, go out there, change filters, preventative maintenance. Hey, if something breaks down, anything that wasn't too big, you know what I mean? Anything massive, would go to the construction department. But at the time, it was, so that was basically what I was doing at the time, so that's what really made me look into, hey, how do you start an HVAC company? Because, after seeing, Anthony again, I'm really giving him a lot of plugs today.
I know. Anthony, you better say your
may have to invoice him or something, right? But, even just watching him where it's like, hey, okay, this is, he's one guy, and then you look online and you say, okay, this is a thing, now I can't speak for, too many other trades or whatever the case may be, but for HVAC, I mean, especially if you were a service technician, which I was even kind of trained to be because I graduated Hudson Valley.
Nice.
I got a degree.
Blue collar college?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Harvard on the Hudson.
Is that what you guys call it?
Yeah. Big time. So, so just coming from a troubleshooting background and just getting used to being dispatched to calls and stuff like that. Once you start incorporating Google and trying to get your name out there, word of mouth, Yelp and all that stuff, it's almost very similar. Oh, hey, someone needs something, HVAC near me. That's what a lot of people do now, or hey, call someone, I'm sure people call you guys all the time. Hey, do you know an electrician? Do you know a plumber? Do you know someone who can cut a tree down?
Yep.
We just had that big ice storm, and really just learning how to wear all those hats, because again, it's one thing, you feel independent, working for a larger company, some people may feel, oh, hey, well, customers call my phone anyway. And, but people don't realize that big flagship that you're driving out there and that uniform, they're kind of calling John the plumber, but they're really calling, that name on the truck.
Sure.
And once, and every day I'm really, learning to, really try to honor that, you know what I mean? To be mindful, hey, you're DuPree Heating and Cooling all the time. Especially, when you're a one-man band. And I'm sure, even you guys, managing people and stuff like that, I'm sure, that's a message that you guys have to, send out to your employees all the time. Hey, live your life, but at the same time, we're trying to do something here and we're trying to build something here. Yeah. And, so it's basically something I have to just, put on myself.
So was that transition scary, going from a technician to, suddenly operating on your own? Or how did that work? Did you gradually transition?
Oh, it literally, I would almost equate it to, when the mama bird just kicks the bird out of the, that was, that,
really?
That was me, brother. It was one of those, I think I can do this, had a discussion with the wife and she's like, oh, why not? Cause, my wife, Kristen, she's very supportive. You know what I mean? We're not naturally risk takers. But again, this was, August of 2021. So this wasn't even a peak time, for any type of business or anything like that. But after, coming through COVID, again, we had recently had another child, I'm a math guy, not saying I can, I'm not breaking down equations or stuff like that, but I'll sit down with some paper and I'll just start, okay, this is what I'm making. This is what we're making. This is the projections. And one day I sat down and I said, we're going to rip the top off this whole thing. We're going to go for it. This is what I think we can do. I think if we market ourselves, we're from this area, and here we are today. But it was probably the scariest thing that I've ever done. Wasn't scary the first day, but by about day 7, when no one is called.
When the optimism starts wearing off.
Right? When you're like, okay, hold on. All right. We did a job a couple weeks ago.
It's one of my favorite things about entrepreneurs is when they first start thinking about an idea and they're like, holy shit, I'm going to be a million gazillionaire, right? I'm going to make so much money.
Oh, yeah.
Things are just going to walk in the door and then like you said, day 6 or day 7, right? And the phone's not ringing.
Yeah. And that's why I say August 2021. And, any HVAC guys, they know, I mean, that's, it's a lean time.
Sure.
You're coming out of the summer and you're months away from any type of winter time. Yeah. So larger companies, that's when you're, you're doing your fall stuff. You're doing your winter maintenances and all this other stuff where I'm coming into the game like, hey, does anyone like me? Hey, hey, does anyone want to give me a shot? And, it was one of those things where, again, as scary as it was at the time, I look back and, I tell people all the time, I do it again. I definitely do it again because now I feel like, I'm in a space where, again, I'm still learning every single day, but doing it from this position, again, having to wear all the hats, it can be addicting. I'm sure you guys have been there. You know what I mean? When you guys were coming up, you're like, no, this is, again, like you said, you go from thinking, hey man, I can make a whole lot of money. Then that tempers down like, okay, hey, listen, we're trying to survive.
Right.
But then you almost, I like to say get comfortable with the uncomfortable. You know, like,
have
hey,
to.
you know,
Yeah,
you
a lot
have
of people don't.
you know, you have to realize that, okay, listen, you know, you were used to that, you know, you were getting this money every week. All you had to do was show up. You know, sometimes you didn't have to do too much. You know what I mean? We are living in a world where sometimes, you know, you don't have to do so much on that day. You know, you just have to show up on time and be present. You know, where when you're doing this thing on your own, it's like, hey, you know, the phone may not be ringing today, but there's something we can be doing. You know, we can, you know, drawing up a plan. You know what I mean? How can we market, you know, a little bit better? Even if we don't have, I'm big on marketing on a budget. You know, you'll have a lot of guys, especially once you know, list your business, you have a lot of guys that will, you know, start calling, hey, you know, I can do this to your business or I can do that to your business. You know, give me $5,000. And you're like, well, you know, if I can just give this guy $5,000, maybe he can,
you know, get me $50,000 with that $5,000.
Right.
But it doesn't work that way.
It does not work like that. You know, everything is very heavy ROI. You know what I mean? Very heavy ROI. But at the same time, realizing that, you know, you do have to get yourself out there. You know what I mean? Like me personally, I was telling Derek before, you know, I'm not really like a camera guy, you know, but at the same time, like I said, YouTube University, I watch guys and they're on the camera. They're doing what I do. And I'm like, you know what? I got to start doing that. You know what I mean? So you start posting a few reels. You start, you know, doing all of the stuff, the tools that are available to us, you know, because again, I'm sitting here on my phone. I'm watching these guys, you know, they're my peers. They're doing what I can do. And I'm like, oh, I can do this at marketing. You know what I mean? It's not always about, because I get, you know, that whole, man, if I'm doing this and I know I turn right instead of turning left and someone's going to make a comment and then that's going to really like tear me down. And I'm like, well, no, you're doing this to feed your family. So as long as you keep that mindset, you know, people are going to see your intention there, you know, and I really think that that's what's, you know, kept me along to this point. You know what I mean? You know, because I really like helping people, you know, like solving their problems, you know. So, you know, imagine if it's super cold out and you can come and, you know, you can get that thing going. You know, again, the invoice is cool, you know what I mean? But that satisfaction, like you've built a relationship, you know what I mean? I called this guy, he came here, he fixed my problem, you know, he was honest with me, he walked me through it, you know, that means something.
I think it's one of the great things about being in a service-based business, right? Is that, you know, you're getting paid to do something. And so long as, you know, you do what you said you were going to do, it's a pretty rewarding from that standpoint.
And if something goes wrong, you make it right and keep moving. You know?
Yeah. And that's very important, I would say, in HVAC, you know, where I take the standpoint, and I'm sure a lot of technicians will feel me on this, where I say, I let the equipment, you know, tell me what's going on. You know, I have a process with my troubleshooting that, again, nothing's foolproof, you know, but I know that if I take these steps, you know, and I let the customer know what the equipment is telling me, it doesn't mean that the customer may not be a little bit upset. Most people are upset when they're cold. Most people are upset when it's, you know, humid in their house. It feels like a sauna, you know, so everyone's not going to greet you necessarily with a smile on their face, you know, but again, people identify, oh no, this guy, you know, he's telling me what he feels, you know, he's not trying to work me over or no, like he's trying to solve the problem, you know. Then you eventually get to price and stuff like that. And then who knows, you know, when you get there and then, you know, even I'm learning, you know what I mean? Hey, listen, this is what it is. You know, this is how it has to be. You know, you're trying to grow a business, but you're also trying to, you know, satisfy this person's problems, you know, and then you pretty much just go from there.
Now you said something a little while ago I want to circle back to, cause I love like the solopreneur, like the single person operator.
It's awesome.
It is amazing. Right. And I think it's a magical time for a business owner because you're wearing all the hats, but you get to wear all the hats. So it's exciting. And then as things kind of grow, you know, like anything, you trade one set of problems for another. But I think one of the bigger challenges I see with people that are jumping into being a solo entrepreneur is that they're not really comfortable with the sales and marketing aspect, right?
Oh boy. And
it's a hard one, right? Because they just want to be the technician. They don't want to be the guy selling the technician services. And so, I mean, maybe it's a couple of questions, but one thing you said was that you and your wife, you know, you knew a lot of people. Right?
Yep.
And so, how much did that help? Like, did you, or I think it's obvious that it helped that you knew a lot of people, right? But I guess the important question is, how did you get yourself in front of those people to say, hey, I'm doing this and I'd like your business?
It's funny because at first that it really comes back to, utilizing social media.
Mm-hmm.
Because you think at first, okay, I started the business. Hey, I'm on Google, I am on Facebook. I am on Instagram as far as people should know what I do.
Yeah.
But then again, YouTube University, you start hearing things like algorithms and, how do you get in front of people? So then it's like, it was really one of those, like, you start posting videos, you start, doing, even if people don't really understand what you're doing, you put a DuPree Heating and Cooling tag, they see your face and it's like, oh yeah, Zay does HVAC.
Yeah.
Zay does, so it was one of those, I would say putting myself out there more would almost lead to okay, here's a friend request there. Here's a random phone call here. Here's a message here, so it was one of those putting myself out there more led to, people almost like finding me because it was like, oh yeah, I remember, that you did that, and then again, so now it's funny because now when it's people that you do know, now it's almost like you almost get a little bit more jittery because it's like, oh, I really got to perform now. You know what I mean? Because this isn't, someone I may potentially never see again. This is someone that can, tell someone else we know and someone else we know. And so now it's like, oh, but then it's, calm down. We got our process. This is what we do. And, but yeah, it was definitely a social media type deal.
You enjoy sales, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
When I execute, and that's the thing for me and I'm sure a lot of people, it's like everyone loves when they close the deal. You know what I mean? But
it's the best day of your life when you close the deal.
Right? But what about when you feel like you closed the deal and it was a good conversation and you're just like, man, like they gave you a coffee on the way out the door, you know what I mean? You gave them a few more business cards and then you don't hear anything. Where do you pivot?
Yeah.
And for me, never having to, because, when I was a service technician, it was literally, okay, hey, listen, this is what the problem is. If it's too big for me, call the salesman. So no sales training. So again, I'm going to say this a lot, YouTube University, how to sell, how to sell, so,
yeah.
And it's funny because you come out and I'm sure a lot of people feel this way. You'll leave a larger company and you'll say, man, when I do this on my own, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then one day you'll sit back and say, maybe I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. Maybe these guys have been around for 40 years.
Right.
How do they do it? You know what I mean? Like, how are these guys doing it? Oh, this supply house is doing a sales course or there's a class somewhere. Mm-hmm. Let's sign up for that. What's $40? What's $45? You never know, what you'll pick up. From these
even
classes.
If you pick up one thing for $45 in a couple hours of your time, right?
It's worth it because again, it comes back to the whole, the service tech mind is, okay, there's not an active problem. I'm not fixing something. I'm not installing something. Okay, there must not be anything to do. Mm-hmm. The business owner mindset has to be, again, when wearing all the hats, and this is why I'm constantly telling myself this, like, no, Zay, there's something you can be doing. This doesn't have to be a, go until burnout. You know what I mean? But are we, refining the best way that we can, so that we can be around, 2 years from now, then 2 years after that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because for me, it is very much a monthly thing. It's a quarterly thing. It's based off of my math. Sure. You know what I mean? I'm not okay, we're living until tomorrow. I'm like, okay, this is where we are. How long does this sustain us? You know what I mean? And what can we do? You know what I mean? To, make sure things are moving forward, knowing that, HVAC is very much a feast or famine business, big or small, very much what's the weather doing? You know what I mean? Especially for a lot of one-man bands, guys will understand that, some guys may not want to admit it, but, where a lot of us are, eating off of the crumbs that are being dropped off of the table from the big guys.
Sure.
I have no problem with that. It's business.
I think that's kind of the way it's supposed to be though, right?
Yeah.
I'm very humble in that, when it comes to that. If a customer calls me, oh, hey, I called this company, they didn't get here yet, or they called this company. One thing I don't do though is oh man, they're ripping you off. I don't do that. You know what I mean? I don't do that. I don't believe in that. You know what I mean? I let people know, overhead is a real thing. Sure. You know what I mean? And, everyone is out here to make money. You know what I mean? And it's, it's a free market system. Mm-hmm. for now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And from there,
don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Right. Yeah. After the pod, right? After the pod. So for me, that's really how I approach it.
It's really interesting that you bring it up about, living off the crumbs of the bigger companies it's just such an interesting thing to observe.
Yep.
And to see that, like, it's like just like in nature or anything else, right? Like you kind of have this whole life and death arc of businesses, and some businesses will grow and be huge, but they're going to make mistakes, and those mistakes are opportunities for other people. Doesn't mean the company's going out of business,
right?
It just means like their mistakes are giving someone else an opportunity to maybe get a job they weren't going to get.
That's it.
Help them grow their business, and then you kind of keep climbing up through and becoming a bigger and badder company, and then you are competing with that bigger company.
Yeah.
And it's a whole nother game. So,
I've actually had, believe it or not, local companies where I'll have someone call me, oh, hey, so-and-so, referred you, and I'm like, oh, really? They did? They're like, yeah. These were larger companies. I hadn't done any business with these people. But I remember when I worked for a larger commercial company, if someone called, oh, hey, I have issues at my house. We didn't do residential work. They would refer them to a residential company.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was just even a dispatcher, just Googling for someone who called, oh, hey, give DuPree a call. Something like that can go a very long way. For a one-man operation. Yeah. Again, with just, with the lower overhead.
Listen, not even just like a one-man. I mean, we have a competitor in the marketplace that we have a very good relationship with, and one of the owners of the company is a good friend of mine. And, we get at least 1, 2, 3 maybe referrals every week from those guys because it just doesn't fit their model. Yeah. And so they send them over to us, and it's amazing.
That's major.
Great. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, and they also have that abundancy mentality too, right?
Right.
Like they're not going around like, oh, if I don't keep this deal, then
nope.
There's plenty of work out there for everybody. That's kind of how we feel too. So it's like, try to help each other out and
for sure
keep business going.
Yeah.
I think the worst thing you can do is is tell somebody that you can or that it is in your wheelhouse and it's actually not, it's so much better just to help the person solve the problem.
Me and Anthony, we talk about it all the time where I'll say, hey, we got reached out, because even when they built the Chick-fil-A's out here, I actually got someone contacted me, and I don't feel bad about the Chick-fil-A name drop. Everyone loves Chick-fil-A, No, not big Chick-fil-A guys.
I don't eat it.
Oh no.
I'm not a fast food guy though. I don't eat it, and it's not about
Ever
Chick-fil-A.
Since Mike got chickens, he doesn't eat chicken.
See, but you know what? I'm not mad at that. But anyway, so I got contacted with someone. Hey, we're building some Chick-fil-A's up there. Are you interested in a bid? And I'm like, man, interested? Yes. Nice. But we're talking, and I'm like, man, it's beyond us right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. We don't have, could we? Sure, but is it worth the potential strike out there? You know what I mean? I've had someone tell me, you have to be careful, trying to take too big of swings. You have to understand, if someone accidentally slips off a ladder or something like that, can you complete the job on your own? Mm-hmm. Can you tap someone on the shoulder who can come, because the deadline is not going to, hold up just
and
because.
You're never going to get that call again.
So, and that's happened, a handful of times, you know what I mean? And you're like, man, like that could have been, but it's like, we'll get there. You know what I mean? We'll get there, and, who knows, by the time they're, building something else and we get that call, we'll be ready. We've grown contacts and we've done larger things, since then, to be able to, we'll get there.
It takes awesome. Patience.
It does.
How do you keep yourself focused with that, Zay? Because, are you a goal setter and planner?
You know what? I like to say I don't like necessarily write things out. You know what I mean? I'm not like a write things down. I'm not a vision board guy, but I do know, again, I have 5 children, so I do know what I would like my finished product to be. Mm-hmm. I'm very in tune with what I want that to be, the best version of myself, of DuPree Heating and Cooling, of where I can put my family. So I do have to, pretty much daily, I pretty much check myself like, hey, listen, where are we at? You're going to have some good days. You're going to have some bad days, but I'm definitely, try to be as disciplined, as I can be, understanding like, hey, man, we're trying to do something here. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that you can't make mistakes, but it's like, when you do make mistakes, acknowledge those mistakes, be honest about those mistakes, and just try not to make those again. Try, life happens, things happen, but try to establish the discipline that, I almost want to, almost like a robot, you know what I mean? Like, hey, listen, this is like what we do. You know what I mean? The reason why I'm hard on myself, because I do, plan to grow someday. You know what I mean? And if we do pick up employees or whatever the case may be, it won't be oh, well, yeah, I remember when I used to be on the job with Zay and he just did this and he just did. No, it won't be like, hey, well, if Zay came to the job site right now, what would he say about that? Mm-hmm. Would he say, it's all right? Or would he say, nope, rip it down, do it again? So I put that kind of pressure on myself, to where it's like, hey, I don't like to say like perfection, you know what I mean? But, we play sports and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You try to make the play as perfect as it can be. If you do this, if you do this, if you do this, you should get that, Sometimes you don't, but,
if you're going to do it, you might as well do it right.
Come on.
Right?
Yeah. And that honestly, the guys that did teach me as I was coming in, very much so old school mindset, came into the game, phone books, walkie-talkies, no Google, manuals existed, but, if you got to rewire something, you're going to your truck, so those guys, I'm hopping out of the truck. I got my iPad with me. You know what I mean? I'm glowing. You know what I mean? This guy, he's got boiler juice on him from 20 years ago.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? He's like, kid, are you any good? And I'm like, listen, not yet, but you tell me what to do. I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's how I came into the game. You know what I mean? Trying to build the relationships so that if I did get into a pinch, who can I call? Mm-hmm. Am I competent enough to where if he's in my ear, can I do that? And,
Wow. Doing great work. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. You're just upholding the standard.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's really, my goal. Cause again, what I call HVAC like a passion. It's funny. It's like initially no, but as I do it more, it's almost like, no, this is kind of my baby, man. This is kind of my baby. So it's like, even when I tell people, to get into it, I'm like, listen, it's real, get into it. You can make a living, but you got to be serious, cause it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to learn, which can be difficult, especially I feel like a lot of people, into the trades, a lot of guys will get into it a little bit later, and I think as men, the older we get a little bit more stubborn when it comes to trying to learn things.
What are you talking about?
Right.
We're also amenable to everything.
you know what I mean? And we're sitting here and you're like, man, you're trying to learn this thing and refrigerant and then some electrical and then some heating. And it's like, I don't want to do this. You know what I mean? But now for me, it's really one of those like, no, like this is like what I do. You know what I mean? And the deeper that I get into the industry, I'll refer to the game a lot of times. I feel an obligation to say, hey, no, if I'm out here doing this, especially if I'm going to be a one-man band, it's not going to be like, oh, yeah, you see that truck? Yeah, he butchered my house.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? It's going to be like, oh, no, you see that guy? Hey, you might want to flag him down. You know what I mean? Now, sometimes I do have a little bit of a heavy foot on the Northway, and I apologize. Every now and again, I will get a, hey,
I'll race you on the way back down.
Hey, one of your trucks was on the road and he was being a little bit aggressive. And I'm like, oh, hey, I apologize about that. I'll talk to him.
I used to get those calls. You apologize. What else are you going to do?
That's all you can do. That's literally, that's all you can do because you're so focused on, again, trying to get to the next call. Again, execute. And then, but there's other people out there, you know what I mean? You're almost just like, beep, 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 beep. Oh, no. But, hey, what can you do? Big truck.
That's funny.
I used to get those calls and be like, oh, it's my mother.
Yeah. Probably was.
Yeah. I'll be sure to talk to him.
I'll talk to my mom about that. Yeah. Sorry, everybody. Oh, man.
So what's a typical day look like for you, Zay? Because, I mean, you mentioned with your family life and balancing your work life. I mean, you've got to be going constantly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty much up 5:30 every morning. I'm up, shower, brief workout when I can get a workout in, more of a calisthenics guy. When I can get it in, I'm not as consistent as I should be. Next time I come on the pod, though, I'll be make sure I'm a little extra, But anyways, yeah. So
we'll send you to jiu-jitsu with Mike.
Yeah, man.
How's that work? Is that good?
It's freaking amazing.
Yeah, I hear.
Yeah, everybody should do it.
Yeah. But yeah, so again, 5:30, we're up, we're showered. I'm at the supply house 7 a.m. First appointment of the day, 8:30, as long as I'm not waking anybody up. Mm-hmm. That's service wise. If I'm doing if I'm out fixing, if I'm in a new construction job where, I'm putting in a whole system, furnace, ductwork, AC, whole deal, and I can get on site, I'll be there. I'll be on site 6 a.m.
Yeah.
So if I'm I can be up at 4:30. I'm very big on, the earlier I can get up, the earlier I can get things done. I'm fresh. It buys me, if there is any, fudge factor time, I like to call it. Something may go a little hairy. Hey, we planned on doing this, but now we got to do this, or we got to reroute this, or hey, we got to run to the supply house.
The electrician's behind it.
The electrician, anything.
They're always behind.
When I came out, I'm like, first appointment, 10:30.
Yeah.
I'll get there. Next thing I know, like, man, why is it always 9:30, 10 o'clock? And I'm still out here messing around. I'm calling supply houses to open them up late. That's a charge. Holy moly. But hey, you told this lady you'd get here, because that was a thing for me in the beginning. You don't want to let anyone down. Oh, hey, can you get there? Where are you in Troy? Oh, I'll be there. Hey, I can get there. Where are you in Troy?
I know. You want to say yes, but setting expectations you can't meet, that's a recipe for disaster.
It sure is. So I really had to find out fast where, I answer, hey, listen, I'm a bit jammed up right now. Mm-hmm. I can definitely get to you tomorrow, X and X. If something opens up later on, I will definitely give you a call. Some people,
you can come on in.
Some people are, thanks for answering, I'll be in touch. Some people are like, oh, listen, hey, thanks for just answering. Like, I'll take that appointment. I haven't been able to get anyone here in a week.
Yeah.
So you never know, again, what someone truly needs. Just be honest. You know what I mean? You don't want to take the approach of, again, that whole go. And you told someone you'll be there at 5:30 and they're like, okay, I'm just getting home. But now you're delayed and now you're not getting there till 8:30.
Yeah.
That person at 5:30 was going to greet you a little bit differently than that person at 8:30 when now they're tired. Now I ate my dinner and I'm still cold.
Yeah. It's tough, mm-hmm. man. I'd really love to hear how you, as a solopreneur, like how far out ahead are you on your schedule and how do you manage your, where you have to be, when you have to be there, mm-hmm. days or weeks ahead or whatever, how do you handle that?
This is where technology comes in. So I use a software where I can basically say, if you call me right now, mm-hmm. hey, Mike, what's going on? Hey, you tell me my furnace is down, or hey, I'm looking to get an estimate. Within this phone call, I have your name. You're letting me know your address. I input that. Our time that we discussed, it's put into my system. You get an alert. I get an alert. It can be 3 weeks down the road. It's there.
Okay.
I'm not forced to, soon as I hang up the phone, now 3 weeks from now, I got to remember that I'm going to do an AC quote, for Mike because he's going to be out of town for a couple weeks, but he needs me there when he gets back because he's trying to get something done. So I'm not forced to, remember those things. All I have to do is be diligent enough if when I'm on the phone with someone to take the time to focus on that customer, take their name, take their address, input it into my system, hit send, it remembers it for me. We meet. Oh, hey, you know what? I'd like you to do a yearly maintenance on my furnace, on my AC. Okay, Mike, what's a good week for you? October's fine. I'm, slow at work, or I usually take this time off for vacation. I'm around the house with my kids, spring break or whatever, mm-hmm. AC or heating, whatever season. Okay, house, October 14th, forever. Boop. Reoccurring.
Forever.
We will all, 48 hours out, we'll both get alerts. Hey, if there's any issues, you reach out to me, I reach out to you, because I don't mind, if I'm doing business with someone or potential business and we're talking about the product, we're talking about the business, you have questions, reach out to me. Hey, text me. I don't have a problem with answering people.
Sure.
Some people, again, you grow, you're busy. Oh man, if I'm not making money, I don't want to, I'm not there. You know what I mean? I am not that, oh man, if you're not bringing me any money. No, I want to talk to everyone. Mm-hmm. I want to talk to everyone. Oh, you want to know about heat? Text me. Let's speak. Let's talk. You know, it helps me. All of that helps me grow. All of that, it's reps for me, you know, talking about my business, even 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'm like, oh, man, you're on the phone with that lady for 20 minutes. Yeah, you know, her nephew was on her way. You know, he's going to try to, you know, light the pilot, you know, and I was just talking to her until he got there. You know, they're going to give me a call, you know, if it doesn't work out. Yeah. Might not hear from those people, you know.
So do you feel like that's like by having those conversations, it's really you're starting the formation of a relationship?
Yes.
And relationships is what turns into money at some point.
I do. I'm very much, I bet on the long game.
Sure.
You know, I believe that if you show people who you are and you show people what you're capable of, even if it's something small, when things really go haywire, they're going to call who they're comfortable with. Mm-hmm. You know, again, like I was saying before, you know, you don't get every sale. You know, that's going to happen. But again, if someone, you know, there's water all over the place, they call you, you get there, everything's dry and heated by the time you leave. You're going to be that first call. Most times, if that person needs something new. Most times. Every now and again, you know, hey, people have relatives, you know what I mean? There's mm-hmm. other people in the business. But in my experience so far, you know what I mean, as far as, you know, customer retention or word of mouth type things, mm-hmm. Those relationships matter. You know, they really do.
It's funny because we've been talking about this because we're looking for the right salesperson right now.
Yep.
And when you think about like training a salesperson,
mm-hmm.
trying to help someone, like our model is to hire people that are fresh out of college.
Yep.
They don't know shit. They've never done shit. They're looking for a place to get started, right? That's our model.
Let me mold you.
Yeah. And mold them into, like, one of our goals as business owners is that when our team goes to work for somebody else, if they see that person came from 5 towers, mm-hmm. they're like, oh yeah, you're hired. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the kind of people we want leaving our company, right? Mm-hmm. At some point. So, and I was thinking about, you know, there's a lot of training modalities out there for sales. Like I'm a Sandler sales guy from back in the day. Right. And I still love that stuff. But at the end of the day, like I remember reading an article in the 90s about know, like, and trust. Right. And that, you know, people, they need to get to know you.
Yes.
They need to start to like you.
Yes.
And then they will start to trust you. And when those 3 things happen, then they're a customer for life. They're going to spend money with you. And to me, it's just such an old thing, and I don't know whose thing it is. It probably belongs to someone, you know, so whoever's no like trust model is, that, sorry about that, I'm not stealing it from you, but I just, you know, how do you feel about that? Like, is that kind of, because it sounds to me like that's kind of how you operate.
Right? Without me ever hearing that before, that really is, that's what it is. You know, I found again, and it really, the trust, you know, people. HVAC is one of those trades where very few times someone is calling you because they want to upgrade their system.
Right.
People turn the thermostat, it gets warm, they turn it down, they get cooling. That's that. Some people haven't been in their basement in 7 years. Mm-hmm. You know, that's just what it is. So a lot of times when the HVAC guy comes, it's like, oh boy, you know, what's this? That's going to be how much? Mm-hmm. You know, so with that, you know, I just come in with the, hey man, you know, again, you know, fundamentals. What do we do? You know, this is what we do here. Mm-hmm. You present them with what you feel is, you know, the best, you know, way for these people to move forward, you know, and I found that, again, I keep saying like my method, you know what I mean? But it's just really just like, it's troubleshooting, you know what I mean? Again, it's allowing the equipment to tell me, you know, mm-hmm. what it's saying, you know, and it's relaying that to the customer. You know what I mean? It's really no more, no less. And then for me, I would feel that anytime, say, if something doesn't go my way or something like that, it's not a trust thing. Mm-hmm. It's not a personality thing. You know, you just got beat. You know, and then that's where for me, it's like, okay, what are they doing that I'm not?
Right.
You know, that's where the sales hat has to grow, you know, has to be more refined, mm-hmm. you know, understanding you're not going to get them all, you know what I mean? But almost wondering, hey, why didn't you get that? You know, hey, reach back out to the customer.
Yeah.
You know, they probably went, you know, hey, you drove by that house. You seen that there's a new system there that you didn't put in. don't be so mad about it. Call them. They may tell you. I've had people tell me, hey, listen, they were offering something that you weren't offering, financing. What do I have to do? Go get some financing.
1,000% to what you're saying. I've definitely reached out to people that have not given us deals and be like, hey, listen, I'm not reaching out because I want to, try to overcome an obstacle. Yeah. I'm just trying to be better.
Right.
Can you tell me why you went with them and not me?
That's it.
And I've gotten answers. Not all the time.
Not all the time. Some people, hey, they think you're, calling for an argument or something like that. But I found the people who do answer, it's, oh, no, I say, it wasn't, great guy, but, this is what they offered. I'm like, okay. And again, it goes back to the whole, don't reinvent the wheel. Oh, what did they do? Okay. Do you have access to do that, Zay? Then maybe you should incorporate that into your practice.
Right.
If you've seen, that could have been a sale for you, but you didn't have that, how can we... Now, sometimes
or if you're going up against those people in a future deal.
Yes.
Right? I mean, this goes back to, just sports research, right? Yep. Like, if you're playing someone that's going to, what do they have? What are they going to use to try to get that deal and how I lost it last time?
Right.
Yeah. I love it.
Right. Like, sometimes I'm thinking, I gave them a nice smile. You know what I mean? I talk nice and slow. They seem to understand me. But, you see another salesman, I'm like, oh, he's got folders. I should get some folders.
That's how you get better.
That's amazing.
Iron sharpens iron.
You never know. You know what I mean?
He's got folders.
He's got folders.
Son of a bitch, has folders.
Right, I don't have folders.
Yeah.
Some people have binders. Yeah. I'm like, okay, so it's, it's a very much show and tell. It's not always, some people like pictures.
Yeah.
Again, we're in a finance world. You know what I mean? And when things are tight in the economy and the heat goes out, you still have to fix the heat. Everyone doesn't have $1,000 on hand, but they have a means to pay monthly. You have to be able to provide those options.
Yeah.
And I think as a one-man band in any of the trades, I think that you could potentially, the more that you can be like the larger companies, the more you'll start to separate yourself from, say, just like your Joe LaPlumber, local handyman, So when I speak on one-man bands, I'm talking, fully insured, LLC, incorporated, however, trying to make yourself, you just don't have employees. Yep. You know what I mean?
Still legitimate. You're still,
still legitimate, you know what I mean? But trying to grow. Build something that you can grow into. Again, I got that off of YouTube. You know what I mean? So when my first receipt that I ever gave, it was a digital receipt. You know what I mean? My first, I had QuickBooks, before I made any major sales. You know what I mean? Things that, and at first I'm looking at this stuff, I'm like, okay, I don't know what any of this is. I don't know what any of this does. But as you start to load data, and you're like, oh, this is how you build. This is what I spent here. So I don't have to, I'm not on Saturdays before I have to take my son to soccer. I'm not sitting at the desk with a pile of receipts from Home Depot, another pile of invoices from another supply house, none of that. You know what I mean? Everything is very much.
That makes me a little nauseous thinking about that.
It's,
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but I mean, I do think, unfortunately, there's a lot of people who still operate that way, almost assuming like, oh, no, it's just me, but there are ways to, shrink things down so that it's a very much so, laptop, computer, printer, you're ready to go. Yeah. Good cell phone reception, and, you're ready to rock and roll.
You try to keep things as digital as possible?
I do. I think for most people, especially in the times we live in now, you know what I mean? If I've had some people where I very much work from home. I've had some customers, they'll find me on Google. They'll message me through my website. They'll let me know, hey, I'm upstairs in a meeting. I can't meet. Let me know what's going on. Text me. I'm fully available that way. I've texted them, let them know what's going on. They'll say, okay to the repair. I go out. I come back. I send them an invoice. They pay it. I have not physically met these people. It doesn't happen a lot. Yeah. But that works for some people. You know what I mean?
We're in a society. Some people just don't want to be bothered. Right. And don't want to talk to people or interact.
Yeah. But I also have, if I have an elderly person or something like that, or someone who I like to call a little bit old school, and they'll say, hey, just you got any paper receipts? Sure do. Have a binder full of those too. Yep. Here's your copy. Here's my copy.
Yeah, it's funny.
I have them both, and I think, but I do think overall, digital, does seem to be, more easier with people. I keep a chip reader.
It does make a lot of things easy.
Yeah.
I do still go in the bank to make deposits.
Oh yeah.
I do too.
Me too.
I can't even help myself. Even I don't know why. And it's, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if it's an old habit thing. Like it's just my old manness where I don't want to adopt cause like Kristen makes fun of me. She's like, I bet your bank will let you do that deposit right from your phone. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to go in. I want to talk to the teller.
Oh yeah.
I want to ask them how their day is. I want to talk about the weather.
I want the receipt.
Right. And how about the teller looking at you like, what are you doing in here?
Right.
They're almost like, oh, no, keeping your job going, man. Give me some work to do.
It's freaking crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot of good stuff, Zay. So I guess any advice that you have for somebody that, might be thinking about trade school or venturing down a similar path that you did, if you look back, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that first and foremost, if you're thinking about it, do it. The writing is on pretty much every wall you can look at that the trades is, where to go. If you can acquire a skill, you can feed yourself. And for me, that's really what it comes down to, for my family. What can I do to feed and sustain myself? And if you do decide to come into the trades, again, understand that from my perspective, the most important thing is building the relationships. Catch some of these guys, that are going to be retiring within the next 10 to 15. Catch them before they go. Try to soak up as much from these guys, from some of these women out here that you can, because there's people out here that know a lot. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's people that know a lot. There's these things that these people do, like it works, and I think unfortunately there's going to be, a lot of people that do retire that, all that knowledge, you know what I mean? We didn't squeeze that knowledge, enough. But at the same time, I think there with the influx of younger people, you know what I mean? And there's definitely, as far as our government's concerned, they're, starting to wake up and say, hey, listen, we need to, pay attention to this, to the infrastructure. You know what I mean? Like we need our electricians, we need our plumbers, we need our HVAC techs, and I think with all of that, if you are someone who's thinking about, getting into any of the trades from any aspect, you know what I mean? Like a dispatcher is going to become very important, being a good dispatcher. Yeah. When I came into HVAC, the original dispatcher that I had, she was with the company for about, 20 or so years, 25 years dispatching. So this person, she's going to know like, okay, if you're starting your day in Troy, and then a call comes in Latham, maybe I'm going to have you take the call in Latham. She's not going to wait until you get to your second call that you thought you were going to go to in Glens Falls and say, oh, now I got to reroute you. Right. Because all of that stuff is going to matter. You know what I mean? Technician, dispatcher, salesperson, anything involved, with the trades, but just, seek counsel, from people that are a little bit wiser than yourself or a whole lot a bit wiser if you can. Like I said, really just if you can find someone that's been in the game, tap them on the shoulder, take them to lunch, get them a coffee. Hey, how'd you do it? And yeah, but anyone thinking about it, pondering it, just go for it, because I didn't love it, when I first started, but like I just told you guys, this, HVAC is my baby now. You know what I mean? You almost start to marry it. You know what I mean? Like, sure, with the cleaning, it's like, no, this is my deal. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to look at something and be, oh, no, it's all right if you clean it okay. You're like, no, spotless. Spotless as could be every time. Understanding that sometimes, mistakes happen, but like I always say, don't try to keep making those mistakes. Try your best to not.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
If people want to learn more about you or, book you for a job or something, how do they find you?
You can definitely find me on my Google page. It's DuPree Heating and Cooling. Facebook at DuPree HVAC. I'm also on Instagram. I'm building the Instagram just a little bit better. You know what I mean? So, I pop up on there a little bit. But like I said, mainly Google, Facebook, or www.dupreeheatingandcooling.com. That's DuPree Heating and Cooling spelled out. It's a little bit of a long one, but that's how you get to me.
That's awesome. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Absolutely. This was smooth. Yeah. A lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
Like a cat's tongue.
Yeah. No, it's great talking to you guys for real.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. And thanks, everyone, for listening. And, I still do need to continue to thank Luke Michaels and Michael Screw, the folks over at MLB Construction. They last year, they were kind enough to give us some money and do some sponsorships so that we could award some scholarships to people down at Blue Collar College, HVCC.
Perfect. That's cool.
And over at BOCES as well, trying to help further some of those programs. So I just want to say thanks to those guys. And thanks for everybody. What do you got, Derek? You got
anybody interested in getting involved? Reach out. Shoot us an email. Yeah. hardhat@bluecollarstartup.io.
Do you check that email?
Yes.
Nice. Thank God for Derek every day, everybody. So thanks for listening, everybody. Check us out, too. We are also on Instagram, although I post very rarely because I don't like social media. But
yeah, I know, right?
It's tough, man.
It is. Blue collar in social media, it seems it's a struggle. But I've watched a lot of guys grow.
I know it's there, especially for guys like you that are you have the time to do it and you can really put that personal touch on it.
It's important.
I tell people all the time, don't pay companies like mine to do social media. I know, it's serious.
Really?
Because it's just not the ROI is just not going to be there for you.
Yeah,
the only reason why you pay us is because you just bottom line know you need it, but don't want to do it.
Right.
So who's doing it good? Boom Nation actually. I don't know if you follow Boom Nation. Well, you're not really on social media either, but
I try to stay away from
social
media.
But
see, it's not just me then, man. It's really.
But Boom Nation came on the podcast a few episodes back, and I follow those guys on Instagram, and they've got a good feed. I mean, they're curating most of their content from other people, but they're doing it. They're doing it good, man. They got some good stuff on there. So shout out to Boom Nation, and check us out on Instagram, everybody. Blue Collar Startup. .io or
.io.
Yeah, that's our web address as well. So give us a listen or follow or whatever it is that you do on social media. And thanks, everybody. Thanks again, Zay.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. This is great.